new combat animations, new combat mechanics, new characters, co-op mode confirmed. Like, there's a lot of things to actually get into when we talk about the closed beta test preview. So in this video, let's actually summarize the entire preview in as little time as possible. Let's go. The live stream starts off with this starting screen, which has some very beautiful music. That's the music you're actually hearing in the background of this video. But that aside, we start off seeing the devs, and the three devs who we're most familiar with, Dawn, Wolf, and Flower, who we saw in the devlogs, have come back, and after greeting us for a little bit, they start to talk about the game. Now, Flower confirms that the art team has made multiple changes and optimizations to the scenery and ecosystem of the game. The ecosystem in this case will refer to things like the animals, monsters, and bosses in the game. He also says that players should expect a brand new Wuthering waves. Those are some very bold claims. We'll have to wait till we actually see this for ourselves to know for sure if it's a new Wuthering waves. Now, Wolf talks about the combat, and he says that the combat team has prepared a ton of surprises for us. Now, there are a few changes that were made, but most of these changes were made after the previous showcase. Now, I'm not sure what they mean by previous showcase, whether they're talking about the TGS showcase or whether they're talking about the devlogs. I personally think that they're talking about the Tokyo Game Show showcase, because in that showcase, people who attended the Tokyo Game Show were actually able to try their hands at the game, so they were able to give feedback directly to the devs. So I'm thinking that this is where they got the feedback, which they used to improve the game even more. Now, he says that we're going to experience a new and refined combat cycle, and also we're going to have some more challenging and dangerous enemies in the open world. Now, after that, they hit us with this trailer that you're seeing on screen right now. One major thing that we need to talk about in this trailer is, if you've noticed, you're seeing how the main character, the Rover, is changing constantly from male to female. I take this as confirmation from Kuro Games that there is no canon gender for the story of this game, which means you can be male or female and you don't need to worry. Now, of course, later on in future, they're going to probably change this and it will probably be one gender for most of the pictures. But as you can see right now, we see a lot of female, a lot of male. It's pretty balanced. That's all I can say. Now, they also showcase some combat, and in the combat I can already see some very nice changes, which I talked about in my previous video where I talked about combat. Air juggles. Now, air juggles, they're here. Now, they're not like a dedicated button from what I'm seeing, but you can see it right here. We have Danjin launch the enemy into the air, switch to her echo launches the enemy into the air, then Yang, and then, oh, come on. This is very good combat here. Now, I don't want to go in depth on this. We'll talk about this in my next video, but for now, let's continue going. We can also see a few new characters in this trailer. Their names haven't been revealed yet, so I'm going to keep quiet because I don't want to say anything that is not officially confirmed yet. There's also official confirmation that there is an English dub in the game.
You're finally awake, Rover.
Now, after this little trailer, the stream divided itself into three parts. These three parts discuss three different things: the Resonators, or the characters that you're going to play in the game, the Echoes, and the new enemies that you're going to see in the game. Now, when it comes to the Resonators, there isn't actually much that has changed. We see a few new characters, but there is one character that I wanted to talk about almost immediately that got a new redesign. It was Virinel. That was what she was called in the technical test. Now, I know that just a little while ago I said I don't want to talk about any characters until they're officially announced, but I just had to, because look at this design. Come on, it looks good. Also, if you're looking forward to seeing Shanhua, let me see your comments down below, because Shanhua is looking pristine as always. Now, after these characters, we get this new character who I've never actually seen before. He reminds me a lot about Kamui from PGR. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what I'm seeing from him right now. Now, there's another thing in combat that I wanted to talk about. When we see Jian here, we see him doing some very interesting combos. Now, here, I'm not sure if this means that we're going to have combos in the game or whether this is just an ultimate sequence. That remains to be seen. That's something we'll have to test out when we get it, but it looks very, very interesting because all of this air juggling is really enticing me right now. So after we look at the characters, we now move on to the echo system. Now, echoes are defined as the ability to absorb and use the power of tacit discords or TDs in combat. Now, after this definition was given, a heartbreaking thing happened. So basically, the devs were showing off how the echo system works, and we got to see the pause menu. Now, if you watch my previous video, you'd know that a few fans were actually worried that the pause menu from the technical test was gone. This pause menu animation that you see right here. But I am very sad to tell you all, it's gone. It's actually gone. This is what we have now. Now, I have a running theory. The theory is that the characters have different pause menu animations. This is a stretch, I know, but I have to give myself some form of hope. I really want to see that pause animation come back. It was very unique. I loved it. Okay, editing Mordant here. Now, when I looked again at this new pause menu that we have, there's something that struck me. If you look in the technical tests pause menu, you can see that the amount of icons there are not a lot, which is what allows the animation with the wristwatch to stay there. But if you now look in the closed beta test, you can see that there are a lot more icons there. And I think this is actually the reason why the animation was changed. I'm very sure that the devs also loved this animation as much as we did, but because of the amount of buttons that they needed to put in the menu, they had to change the animation. So that's the most logical reason for why this is gone. It's sad that it's gone, but I can understand the loss. We also got to see how the ecosystem works. Now, one major thing you can glean from the Echo Showcase is that you can now do CEs with your echoes. Now, in case you don't know what CEs are, basically think of it like, what it is just if you combine a few echoes in your gourd, you'll be able to get a certain kind of effect. Now, I don't know if this effect is only for your character or whether it's for the echoes themselves. That remains to be seen, but this is probably going to trigger the collectors in a lot of people because you want to try and collect every single echo in the game to try and combine them and see the effects that you'll probably get. That's something we'll have to wait and see when the global launch happens. I don't think we'll have enough time in the closed beta test to see every single echo, but it will be fun to see how this system works. I can already see some very good ways that this can affect the game. It adds some variety to the combat. It will keep the combat fresh, but let's reserve our thoughts until we actually get these things in hand. You can also just call out your echoes. Any echoes that you've captured, you can just call them out and they will just stand there for you to see. And this was also where the devs confirmed that there is co-op in the game. Now, how co-op is going to work in this game, we do not know yet. We have no details about that. I'm hoping that it's in the closed beta test, and I'm also hoping that I get in Kuro. If you're listening, please, maybe if you can, just hook me up. I know that I don't have the best PC, but I have a good phone that can run this game, so just hook me up. Thank you very much. Now, around this point, the devs also made sure to point out that there is a closed beta test giveaway happening right now. And all you have to do to get into the giveaway is just to tweet your thoughts about the closed beta test using the hashtag WutheringWaveCBT. The amount of winners that will be chosen from this giveaway are 10, and the devs say that they will announce the winners in about 3 business days. Today is Friday, tomorrow is Saturday, and next tomorrow is Sunday, so you have technically 5 days to get into this because Saturday and Sunday aren't considered business days. Well, there you go. Now, after that, we get a very cool sequence showing every single potential echo that we can get in the game. And you go from like the weakest one to like the greatest ones. And we're also going from open world mobs to gigantic bosses. Now, the last 2 that we see there are the ones that I'm looking forward to the most, especially the gigantic orca. I'm looking forward to fighting that gigantic orca thing because, oh my goodness, that thing has potential. Now, after that little showcase, we now get a story cutscene which you're seeing on screen right now, but you don't have any sound on it because, well, I'm talking over it, but you can watch it for yourself in the live stream VOD with the link down below. After that, the devs then went to talk about the new enemies that are in the game, and basically we just see all of the characters that we saw from the Echo Showcase, but then the last one we see is this new character who is potentially a boss character, and he reminds everybody. If you've played PGR, you know that that's a Roland reference. Like, Roland just decided to get himself isekai'd into Wuthering Waves. But then after all this, then the live stream comes to an end, and we get this very nice ending screen of the turtle that is dancing. Now, by the way, for those of you who don't know, this turtle is actually a boss that you can fight in the game. And I think I'm going to steal this turtle and make it into my end screen. I am not sure yet, but it looks too nice for me not to. But that's basically everything that happened in this live stream. As for my personal thoughts on all of the things that we see here, I will leave that for the next video that I'll upload. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.